Hi, I'm Paul Roberts. This is Conscious Counseling 101. So I just got done with my run out there at the beach and made a few videos on that. Out at the beach, we noticed a lot of people were heavy, they were out of shape, and they were letting themselves get burnt and stuff like that. And we've got an election coming up here in another year, a little bit more than that. And a lot of these people are going to be putting a person in office that they think is going to make their life better. But let's look at this consciously. We've got a bunch of people that don't take care of themselves, and a lot of them, a lot of them around this area are going to be voting for Trump, and they're going to not realize that the economy is not going to improve enough to help them to take care of their ailments if they don't have health insurance coverage. The conservative side is going to look at the left side and they're going to say, we can't afford this, blah, 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 blah. But they're going to say, we're doing a great thing, we're going to make it all work out. And they're going to make you believe that, they're going to try to make you believe that, and then they're not going to do anything. Now, the truth is, they really serve money. And I'm going to just plainly say this. Anybody that just plainly serves money, you have to be suspect of, because you have to wonder if they really care about you or if they're just putting on a nicely polished guise for you, and their purpose is hidden. I said to my friend, the best reason to vote for a Democrat as opposed to a Republican is that the Democrats, even if you believe that they're tax and spend, you have on the books what they're doing and they always tell you what they're trying to do. Whereas if you vote for the other side, a lot of the people over there have money. They're not going to tax and spend, they're going to try to cut government. But the thing you don't see is all the things that greed and power hide. What happens is that's not on the books, and they say it doesn't exist. But their agendas and their things that are motivating them and directing them are things that aren't necessarily going to help you, because they're going to be hidden by greed. They're not going to be stated. And unless you're conscious enough to know that they're there when they're serving evil, the love of money, then you're going to be mowed over by them. Now, on the other side, my whole family is Republican. The other side, they always say, well, yeah, but if you give rights to people, they're going to sin. They're going to use those rights to do things they shouldn't do. You know what? They might. They might just do that. And they might do it legally. But the truth is, if they're predisposed to be those kind of people, they're going to be predisposed to be those kind of people anyway. You can't stop them. So what I would like to say is, by trying to stop them, what you're really doing is restricting all of us. If we're not predisposed to go and run after evil like that, you make it so that the whole world is set up for stopping something that shouldn't be stopped. And you create all kinds of restrictions that you don't even realize you're creating. You give all kinds of power to the right and the people with lots and lots of money. And they're going to be the ones dominating you, but they're going to be dominating you secretly. They're going to be dominating you with greed in clandestine methods that you won't know about, like tax and spend, that are on the books and are openly said. And they're going to tell you all kinds of promises, but they're not going to necessarily deliver unless it helps. I was just driving through Louisiana, reading some of the Louisiana farmer papers, and they were talking about how great Trump is because they had too much water this year and they got off to a bad crop, especially with rice. And the representative, the Republican congressman, said that he was so great that he wrote a letter to Trump, and within a week or two, there was $16 million in aid coming to those farmers. And, I think that's great and everything, but here's the thing. We're paying that. Our tax dollars are paying that. We have no assurance of our own health or our economic futures. Why on earth should we be paying them so that they can have more assurance? They already have. What about the person that doesn't have yet, or what he has is not assured? Is not even. They're not only not assured, but they're trying to blot it out. Why should we pay? Well, I'll tell you why. Because the people that got the money are the base. And if that base doesn't think the president's great and doesn't reelect him, he's going to go to prison, and he knows it. So I just want you guys to think about this when people do things like this. Every time you get a reveal there like that, look at it and know why it's there. Because most things aren't going to be revealed. You're going to have to do a little detective work. You're going to have to be, I don't want to call it skeptical. You just don't want to put your head in the ground. You don't want to always say, oh, it must be the other side that's wrong. Because, ideally, I think conservatism, if it was true conservatism, really would be the side I'd like to be on. But there's so much hidden corruption through greed and power that I can't be on it. So what I do is I'm on the other side, which is the Democratic side, that favors the middle and favors the common person. And they do grant them rights and privileges that the other side is going to say, hey, that makes them sin. But, wouldn't they be sinning anyway? And my brother said, you can't have government legislate something that causes you to sin. Well, take a look at this. He doesn't want to have abortion rights. I said, well, gee whiz, okay, I get that. I don't want abortions either. But the truth is, because the president that we currently have has totally turned a blind eye to pollution standards by pulling out of the Paris Climate Accord, and totally turned his back on the endangered species just recently. What he's basically doing, if you are biblical at all, and you look in Genesis, we are to be the stewards of the animals and of the earth, and we were charged with that in Genesis. So if you're biblical at all, you'd realize, no, it's the other way around. If you give us rights for abortion, I'm not going to have an abortion. I'm not doing anything wrong. The sinners that would already do it would be having the abortion. Okay? You're not going to stop them from being sinners. But if you do turn your back on pollution control standards and things like that, and allow power and greed and wealth to guide, then what's going to happen is, the endangered species and the lands and the true conservation that needs to happen is not going to get looked at. And so all of us as Americans are forced to sin because we're not doing what we were told to do in Genesis as stewards of the animals and the land. And that is true sinning, because every single person's forced to uphold that. If you tell me I can have an abortion, I'm still not going to have one if I'm not a girl, but I'm not going to support that with my family or wife or whatever, unless there's dire circumstances. But if you do what you're doing now, you are causing me to sin. I'm having to go against what the country that I'm standing in, against the biblical orders to Adam. So put that in your mental pipe and smoke it for a little while, and look at all the ramifications that has.